It hits the ground, it goes to attack Van. Elaine pushes Van away, tells him to run, and then the Grendel does this like impaling tail move like Ridley from from that Smash Brothers trailer, and he kills Elaine. And I was just like, what? Huh? Hello everyone, and welcome to my... Oh, this music. I'm getting distracted already. to my mini review of the prologue of Chrono Kiseki 2, Crimson Sin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yep, Yep. Sorry, just let me vibe. Let me sway for a second. When I first listened to this title screen, I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be a dangerous time, isn't it?" So yeah, we first open with them just giving us a little play-by-play of everything that happened from the first game, and yeah, then the game actually starts 12:09, 2:20 at 2:24. I assume AM. I assume it's in the morning, with a bunch of CID soldiers about to bust into somewhere underground. And who do we see? Mysterious hooded man. Actually, he's not a hooded man, he's a... Yep, and you can see he's got the Genesis, and he's got the evil mare with him. And her catchphrase is Shard Erosion, Boot the Grendel. So that's interesting. And then yeah, the trenchcoat man dons a different kind of nightmare. And his is red. He shoots out all these spooky, creepy tendril things. He has a barrier around him, guys. Oh no. If only Lloyd were here. Yep, and then he launches forward, kills everybody, and look, Swin and Nadia show up. So this was really cool to see them again. Yeah, they talk about that they owe Van for something that he did in the past, which we find out later that, well, we don't find out. We get a little like flashback thing to what I assume is before Reverie. There was that one sequence where that one daydream where they fought Risha, and Swin and Nadia mentioned, "Oh, we just barely escaped the thorns." That they didn't expect them to chase them as far as they did, which thorns is Melchior's division. So I'm just assuming that Van is the one who helped them escape. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming they are referring to. And then it flashes forward into the morning. Oh yeah, we get a nice little panning shot of Old Town. There's Montmartre. Hey, Yume and Paulette. Oh yeah, they're talking about Maxim Lugan. Oh. Oh my gosh, Yume's so cute. Yep, then Van is of course sleeping in his office, listening to the radio. And someone comes knocking at the door. Who is it? It's not Agnes this time. Van opens the door, and to his dismay, it's Elaine. I like her new casual outfit. It looks really nice. Oh yeah, we get this new we get this new background tune. I think this is I think this one is Hard-Boiled Shortcake, I think is the name of the song. Which is totally fitting for a new office theme for Van. And yeah, Daisuke Ono as Van is perfect as always, as far as his Japanese voice. There's just, just Van and Elaine just dancing around each other. It's just always funny. Yeah, then Elaine comes to essentially request Van's services. She shows him the footage from last night. She got it from Rune. Essentially telling us that this trenchcoat man has been just going around killing people. Victims include military, government officials, even outlaws like mafia and gangsters. Elaine says that the Bracer Guild and the CID will probably get more involved. They don't know anything yet as to who could be the culprit. Rean had this thing in the Cold Steel games where he could sense things. He had this sort of like sixth sense. When something was wrong, he could just tell. Van has something similar, but it's more of like he can smell trouble. Which as he's kind of sort of like a detective in a sense. It's basically just anime superpowers. Van is like, wait a minute, that looks like Mare. Yeah, and Elaine says that because Van can turn into something similar, and it basically everybody knows about it, all the big players, they're gonna be like, and sort of point their fingers at Van, even though obviously he's not the one responsible for this. And so Elaine says she wants to help him out in the form of a cooperation request, and then we get a look at the new title cards. Ooh, Prologue, Crimson Roar. I like how the crimson is in red. It's a little thing, but it's really cool. And then of course, we gotta listen to this section, this part's hilarious. They're eating some kind of like a apple tart, and Van is just, he's eleganto. Very eleganto. He's just fanboying over it. Tarte Tatin. I've never heard of that before. I wonder if it's a real thing. Oh hey, look! Yep, it's a French-style pastry, in which fruit, usually apples, is caramelized in butter and sugar before the tart is baked. Oh, ooh, look at this. Ooh, that looks good. I don't know, I kind of like this. Oh, ooh, I'm getting hungry. Oh yeah, totally. I totally see why Van is just, he's in heaven right now. Yeah, Van and Elaine are gonna go gather info now. Then we get a little bit of tutorials, then we get these little character active talk moments that pop up. The one thing that I did notice was there were times where the voice actors would talk and say the lines like this. Like, Van is very clearly done speaking, and it took like a solid 5-6 seconds for it to swap to Elaine finishing it. It's a little thing, it's a very minor thing, but it's like when they pop up, I stop and I listen to it because I don't want to talk to another NPC or accidentally progress the story or something and miss out on that dialogue. So it's a little thing, but it is a minor annoyance. What was I doing? I was just looking at, oh yeah, the Amulet of Chaos. What does it actually do? Strength plus 10, critical plus 10, and CP plus 10 on action, so that's pretty good. So basically it's kind of a miniature version of Rean's Master Quartz in a sense, where you get CP gain per turn. And I think I ended up putting it on Elaine instead because Elaine had a higher base crit rate. Was going to, yeah, she has a base of 13, so it goes up to 23, and I was like, oh yeah, heck yeah. Oh, unfortunately you don't get to control Elaine right away. You gotta run around as Van. So, oh yeah, we've reached it. We've reached the NPC stuff. We'll get to story stuff later. You guys know how this works. See, we get to meet Hawker and Robinson again. We talked to these guys. They were here all the time, and Robinson would always help Hawker by watching over his kid. Oh, fluffy pancakes. Altina would love eating here. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm glad I saw this. So we get to see Van's new journal here. So it says over here, this was the first thing I noticed. Collected Genesis, 7 out of 8. And this got me thinking, why would this be a thing unless some shenanigans, some tomfoolery, some poppycock happens later, and maybe the bad guys or whoever end up taking the Genesis from us, and that's what we end up spending the rest of the game doing, is essentially getting the Genesis back from the bad guys, whoever the bad, whether it's angry, red, fiery Grendel man, which we do learn his name later, or at least the designation that they call him. Whether it's Harwood, whether it's just other people, I don't know. That could be a thing. This could just be here for decoration, and I'm just I'm speculating a bit too much. Yeah, the alignment thing is back. I went around and talked to all the NPCs. I was looking at their menus. Old lady Jen, she's like, "Van, buy some cigarettes. This is a cigarette store. You never buy any cigarettes. You just want candy." Oh, this was so much fun. Oh yeah, I went around. Oh, I talked to Etoile, the cat on the rooftop. Normally, when you would talk to her in the last game, she would just run away. I was just running around, right around the office, just taking a look at everything. Oh, this music. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, look, there's Christ Who's Gonna Die First. Still no Woo Baby. Nope, even all these games later. Sorry, Twit Gamer. It's gone forever. Osborne destroyed every last copy. Oh, Natalia, the crazy old lady that just makes up ridiculous stories. Oh, right! And then, yeah, the guy that used to run the flower shop, him and this Raymond, that was his name. Him and his other two friends, they lived together, but because of things that happened in the first game, they all went their separate ways. So I wonder if we'll run into them at some point later, in some other location maybe. Oh yeah, Van is corrupting poor Father Nikolai in the ways of cars. Lulu and Sayla, they were the two idol characters. Talk about how they're gonna work harder. Oh yeah, and these three, Zola, Roman, and Curtis. Yeah, after the events of last game, where you could literally you could do the chaos option. Why don't you guys just get a divorce? Because their family situation was terrible, and that's putting it mildly. But yeah, it seems like they're bouncing back. Curtis is finally doing better. Old man Huck. Oh, I love this man. He just wants to sit here and play mahjong. Oh. Yep. He's just slacking off. Anya, not from Spy Family. I had to go into the sauna. I just had to. Van deserved it. Oh yeah, look, I decided to take a look at different things around the Orbital store. Those little boxes kind of look like shotgun shell boxes to me. Then you see all the different little ornaments, and I couldn't figure out what those things were. I was like, what are those things? They don't look like, oh, and I was messing with all the buttons. I was trying to like see if I could go into like a first-person view. Oh, that's right. I did buy the issue of the Tyrell Times, but I didn't read it, so I'll definitely have to do that next time I go into the game. And I went to Riverside. We get a nice little panning shot. Oh wait, is this where? Yeah, they're talking about going to investigate the crime scene. Wait, where is it? It was for just a split second I saw her to that scene. Wait, there she is. She photobombed us. Oh yeah, I was just taking in the sights of Riverside. It's such a just a pretty place. And yes, I know, I see it over there, bottom left. I know. We'll get there eventually. Oh right, and Bermoti, we talked to him and he mentions something interesting, that all the orbital technology in his bar, yeah, suddenly stopped working all at once. The lights, the refrigerators, the jukebox. It wasn't for very long, but it was similar to, Van points it out, it was similar to the orbital shutdown phenomena, but in a much more condensed area. Yeah, Van's to get into it right now. Some sort of external intervention like what happened in Liberl. But it was on such a small scale that it didn't even get brought up in the news or anything. Oh, then here she is, Selma. She's still running, even all this time. After all this time, after she got dumped last game. Yeah, yep, of course. I mean, I feel like we all knew that she was gonna end up developing feelings for Lodi, who's just kind of like, yeah, we're friends. Or is it ever gonna progress anywhere? Who knows? Probably. They're NPCs. All NPCs are fated to be with each other in this game, in these games. Only NPCs, not main characters, because Falcom hates us. Okay, any Devil Survivor fans out there, listen to this piano section. Listen to this piano section again. Right here. Does that not sound like it was ripped straight from Devil Survivor 2? It sounds like the map select theme. Yes, and then this is where I ran down here. I was like, wait, what? They're fishing? Wait, can I actually fish? Because fishing was not a thing in the first game. I was so sad. Oh, I was so excited. I was like, fishing? And I was like, wait, I hit a button and I can just fish wherever I want at any body of water? Wait, huh? I was like, what? Just right here? I could just fish? This is so cool. Just any body of water, you can just fish. It's no longer a designated point, and depending on where you cast, the chance to catch certain fish goes up, and yeah, I was looking around, I was like, wait, whoa, what? Yep, you can even find hidden fish too. I was like, what? Oh, this, yeah, I'm gonna lose a lot of time fishing. And they changed the fishing minigame again, which I kind of like it. Where you gotta like follow the reel around the circle, and you can only hit it when they're both cross paths with each other. It's cool. I wonder what kind of neat stuff we're gonna get from fishing. Oh right, and then they mentioned social media. So is that gonna be a thing? Is there gonna be a version of Twitter in this game? Is Gramhart the Elon Musk of the Trails universe? Did he open his own social media application for the Zyphas? Because they did say that for the public, they were gonna release a non-combatant version of the Zypha that was basically just all the communication features and none of the combat features. Oh right, and then I was like, wait, can I fish here even though there's a railing? Yes, you can, but the little thing has to be, you do have to kind of be standing above the railing slightly, which makes sense. Then Gordon and Primo and her crazy, weird, random taco recipes. Did she had some kind of like chocolate taco? And I don't mean the ice cream choco tacos, I mean the literally a taco with like chocolate in it or something in the first game. Is weird stuff, but as you can see, she just has beef and chicken tacos, just normal stuff for now. For now. Oh, I had such a hard time just buying things. Not buying things, because I wanted to buy one of everything. So that I can have as many points as possible, just in case I just in case I missed something. And I eventually just started selling all my items. I was just like, I don't need these. I need the money more than anything. Yeah, then we go down here and we meet Alvis and Dasani Water. And we eventually find out that Alvis did get promoted. He was a C rank bracer in the first game, and after the events of well, everything, he got promoted to B, so that's cool. And yeah, we get the permission of Dasani to sort of look at the crime scene, which thanks to Marduk and Reset, Van is able to scan the area using his, let's see if I can find it. Well, it's very quick. Yeah, it's kind of like Batman vision from the Arkham games. So yeah, they're like, oh, there were only 3 people. There were only 3 bodies found at the crime scene. Oh, nope, there was a 4th one. Which it's like, come on, there's literally blood right there. How'd you guys not see it? Did you guys not check the area? I guess not. Look at all that blood over there. And then you see like footsteps wandering off. This was a moment where I was like, alright, okay. I'm trying to suspend my disbelief here. It's a video game. But I was just like, really, guys? You guys... One of you guys is a bracer, the other's an inspector with the police. It's like, come on. It's not a big deal. I like this theme in the background. I like how it incorporates the main theme. That's the one thing that I really missed from Daybreak, was there wasn't really that many leitmotifs used in the music of Daybreak. But Kuro 2 seems to be fixing that issue. That little tiny issue that I had. I'm very much looking forward to hearing more of the music later. And then after this, Alvis yells at us because we're hanging out with Elaine on her day off. Yeah, then we go to the 12th district. That's what it's called, Grand Circuit. Seriously, this music. The music is gonna distract me the way I'm doing this video so much. Yeah, there's a Ferris wheel over there. I wonder if we'll get to do that for just like little bonding events or something. Maybe not bonding events, but just like to get bonding points later. Or maybe just like little special scenes. Yeah, I ran around, I looked at all kinds of things. First I went to the car store and I was just looking at everything. Grand beer, I thought that might have been root beer, but I was like, no, there's literally bottles of wine right there. So, oh yeah, this dude, Giordano. I love this dude. He's driving around everybody in his taxi. He calls everybody brother. Hey, brother. Oh, brother, it's been a while. Oh, I like him. He's funny. And they have like a little rock climbing wall here. And Elaine's like, oh, if only it was taller. It's like Van's like, that's pretty tall already. Oh right, and then I found this weird chest thing, and I was like, what the heck is this? And they made a new mini game where you control Mare in this like virtual space where you're essentially hacking through barriers. Lloyd would be proud. Level 1 barrier. Lloyd's like, I sleep. Level 1 barrier, I sleep. I'm not awake yet. Well, wake me up when we get to level 2 barriers. And Mare does a cute little pose when you complete it. I imagine as you just keep going. And yeah, I got a new arts driver. So that was cool. Unfortunately, what was it, Earth? Yeah, it's Earth, and I mean it does have some healing stuff, but I stuck with Storm and Mirage. Oh, and they changed Van's arts driver because probably time arts would be too OP at the beginning of the game. So they got rid of the time arts that were here and they replaced it with Crest and Earthguard, which is like, it's whatever. I guess it's for balancing purposes, because having Death Blow at the start of the game would kind of be a little broken, I would think.
However, it was a bit too powerful. I made a few modifications for game balance purposes.
Meow. We get a good look at Maxim racing. I was just looking around at all the NPCs, just doing all their different like animations and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, guys, look, I found him. There he is. There's Trenchcoat Man. Marielle is getting the scoop on Maxon. But we get our first look at a certain someone who I was very curious if we would meet. Zeta, Sharid's sister from Elsheim. She seems to be as much of a racing enthusiast as Van. But she doesn't seem to be as trolly as Alphen, at least for now. We haven't really met her yet, officially. Oh, this was one of my favorite bonding events. It was with Sharid. Yeah, and he's just expressing his doubts in himself. And that's why Sharid looked up to Olivier so much, because he saw how much he had done. But I just when I first saw Zeta, yeah, she's also a huge movie buff too. Well, I don't know if she's necessarily a movie buff, but she definitely watches all the racing movies. But when I first saw Zeta, the first thing that popped up into my head was that one scene with Randy when you first meet Cecile, and he's like, "Damn it, Lloyd, you've been hiding your sister from me for this long. How could you?" Yeah, then we meet Muriel, and we get the scoop on how she actually ran into Trenchcoat Man. Cause yeah, they found out that there was a murder that happened in this back alley over here. And yeah, look at him. This is where we get our first, like, well, we don't get a clear look at his face, but he's like got this weird, like, dank aura around him. Almost as if he's not even, I don't know, it's like, is he even real? Is this sort of a disguise that's sort of keeping, you know, his true form bottled up? And is the Grendel, I don't know. I don't have a good grasp on what exactly the evil Grendel is yet. Destination is Center Marche, which is where there's a ton of NPCs over there. Yeah, now we're on to my third recording. Oh right, and I went and I was getting annoyed at certain key bindings, so I went in and I started changing them. So yeah, then we get to look at Center Marche, which is sort of the biggest sort of open market area in Edith. Yep, Elaine says it right after I did, but, you know, in a more eloquent fashion. Yeah, and then of course they start reminiscing, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Just kiss and make up already. Yeah, Van and Elaine, they started reminiscing, and they didn't get all awkward around each other. They reminisced, they laughed about it, and they just kind of moved on. So it's like, yeah, they've definitely matured since the last game. Oh my gosh, when I first saw this area, I was like, whoa. And I opened up the map, I was like, oh, look at all the NPCs, look at all the shops. There's like 10 shops. There's so many. Oh, and this music, oh guys, the music, Koguchi, why? Why is the music so good? For just walking around town. Oh yeah, and I walked into the fishing place, and this is Kyle, he's the guy that we saved, he was the guy whose request we took on to get his bike back from the bicycle thieves. I'm not gonna talk much about the NPCs. Just pet the dog already. Just do it. I was getting upset. I was like, just pet the dog. Oh yeah, I was looking at the statue and I was like, is that Fina? Kinda looks like Fina. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at all the fish and all the turtles in the little pond. And then I was like, oh my gosh, look, there's a little turtle right there. He's just chilling.
Handling a man's turtle.
Van just busts out this new search technique that's gonna be used for like more like searching like detective sequences. I was like, oh, this is cool, and it like pulses out. I wonder if like that's just where the function ends. It's just going to be used for very specific story or possibly side quests. But yeah, I am very curious if it's like, oh, you use it and you can find hidden items in like corners of the world. I looked everywhere here and I didn't find anything, so I don't know. It's up in the air for right now. If somebody wants to tell me if I'm just gonna waste my time doing this, let me know. But yeah, you can see all the random NPCs are white, and NPCs I can talk to are blue. So I was like, oh, this is cool. Oh right, we talked to this guy, Kenny, about a request that there's a similar confectionery shop that is supposedly selling sweets made out of rotten ingredients. And we eventually go through it. Let me get to the part. We interrogate all these people, and we sort of just gather information on the guy. We find out that, oh, he was a delinquent, that he used to be in a gang. And yeah, you could see he's kind of got a bit of an attitude with people. But yeah, you could totally tell by that dude's face. This is totally an act. But, you know, he's getting him all riled up, everyone's watching him, and all the customers disperse. It's causing this guy to lose business, and more importantly, to lose face with the public. And then we get this new section, which they had something like this in the Judgment games, which was a sort of tailing minigame, except I would say that one is definitely a lot more... it's a lot more fun to look at, whereas this one is just kinda... you literally just walk, you don't let these bars fill up, and then you just hide in areas. So just kinda like... I eventually just started like just not caring, because it's not like they turn around or anything, at least not yet. Imagine they'll probably get more complicated as time goes on, maybe. But I don't know, I'm not sure how I necessarily feel about this whole gimmick. It's not a terrible inclusion, but it just kind of feels unnecessary slightly. The concept is cool, the concept is neat. But the execution of it is just kind of meh. Yeah, we find out Kenny is the one who's actually responsible for sabotaging Dan and his store. We get to our first... we can either report him to the police or solve the matter quietly. And I think for what have decided, I think I'm gonna go Gray and Chaos this time around. Because I know Chaos was pretty important as far as lore in the first Daybreak. So I don't know if there's going to be a sequence like that in this game. If there's going to be something as important as that, where it's going to have 3 branching paths that you can go down for a certain story segment. I hope they continue with that aspect, because that was really cool. Speaking of that, I still have to go back and do both. I still have to go back and do Shizuna's, Sao's, and the Bracer route. I only did the Chaos route last time. So yeah, we solved the quest. I was like, wait, there was a little canal here of water. Can I fish here? Yes, you can. And I was just like, oh my gosh, no way. You literally have to check every single body of water for potential fish that you could miss out on. Yep, then we go into the underground section. We got a couple of extra quartz. And this is where we get to the combat. There's something about the combat this time. I don't know, I think it's in the way they either added additional animations, or they just made the animations feel smoother. Because the action gameplay feels a lot better. Like, it didn't feel bad in the first game, but it definitely felt like something where it was like, okay, this was just something that they just kind of... It's not there to be... It's not there to take over the turn-based gameplay. Whereas this feels almost like a slight natural progression in terms of the action gameplay, where it just felt better to use. Where in the first game it felt like a means to an end. Whereas in this game it feels like you could actually legit just run around a dungeon and just do the action gameplay. And I had a lot of fun doing that, mainly because when they let me switch to Elaine, I did so. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a second listen. That swell up there with the strings and everything, that wasn't bad. Oh yeah, I swapped over to Elaine. Elaine's very fun to play as. Oh yep, and then Elaine just starts laughing. She's just like, I never thought we would have this kind of relationship. Working together like this, yeah. Oh, this music. We met again by chance and overcame strange incidents over and over again. Maybe it was fate that allowed you to face your own demons in Orishon. Yeah, that whole section was crazy. And then this is it. This is Falcom shutting everything down. Right here. I know what you're trying to say. It's not like I haven't considered the possibility. I don't know if that's what they're referring to, but the shipper in me is thinking that's what it is. Is it because of the problem? The thing, yep, the core that's inside of him. Yep. Nothing has been settled yet, and I can't guarantee that it ever will. Can't be negligent about this for you, for Agnes, for everyone else. Van's still worried about the thing inside of him, vagrant Zions, coming back and taking over again. He's become aware that, yep, there's a lot of people around him that care for him, yep. Yep. He just kinda keeps people at arm's length. But because of everything that happened in the first game, especially because of Agnes, sort of broke down those walls of his. I was gonna say barrier, but I mean... he sort of started allowing people to get closer to him. And Van's like, really? Is this the place to have a serious conversation like this? Oh, this game, these characters. Guys, I feel right at home. I was talking about that earlier. And just as I was just walking around the city and just doing everything, I was just like, I missed playing these games so much. These games are so unbelievably special, and just the way that they handle everything, the characters, the lore, the world building. We get to fight actual people this time in the overworld instead of just in a turn-based fight. We get to smack actual humans on the field. I was like, wait, whoa, what? I don't think this happened in the first game. There were a couple times where we got jumped in sort of turn-based fights against these types of human enemies. These like just ruffians. Yeah, but then we get to the first sort of boss. Oh, Jeffrey, that's right. His name's Oh, Jeffrey. Such a normal name in a Japanese game. Yeah, and he's sort of freaking out because he saw the red Grendel. And he shoots at Van out of nowhere. And the other gang members are like, bro, whoa, what are you doing? But like, no, Jeffrey is like, he is legit terrified of what he saw. Ah, yep. And he had a drug boost on him, which is a remnant of Almada. Oh yeah, Elaine's S-Craft. Knights of Hysteria. So cool, look at this. Yeah, then we report to Dasani Water. Oh yeah, that was the scene where we learned that Alvis was a B rank. Oh yeah, and then Agnes just kind of shows up. She's just like, oh, here you guys are. And Van is like, oh, what are you doing skipping school? Agnes. Yeah, and she got special permission to leave because of the school festival that's coming up. Oh yeah, then he shares the video with her. Yep, and then Agnes is like, oh, let me help you, and Van's like, no, you're still a student, you have to enjoy your time as one. And then is this where, yeah, this is where Albert and Odette show up. And Odette, the way she delivers her line is absolutely hilarious. And of course Albert is like, what are you doing with Agnes? Agnes, my love. Just the way she delivers that line. Oh, that had me dying. As you noticed, I paused before I hit continue because I was laughing. Oh, Odette. She is basically the Alphen of this game. She is the troll character. Oh, poor Agnes. How does she survive with between Odette and Ren just tormenting her all the time? And then this is where we get the funky music again. We get a scene. Then we get Van and Elaine driving off to go to the government facility. And at this point, yeah, they cross-reference all of the places where the attacks took place, and it's sort of on a map of Edith. They didn't show it, unfortunately, but I mean, they told you, they explained how they did it, and it sort of leads to this one location, which was a Republican army base on the outskirts of the capital. So yeah, Rune calls them, says, yeah, he'll be on his way later, and he's called, and they have permission to go to the military base to sort of check things out. And at this point, Van is just like, he has a feeling that something is gonna happen. And oh my, something does happen. So yeah, we arrive at the base, there's literally no guards anywhere. And then we hear them, don't move, hands up. And it flashes to, oh look, there's Trenchcoat Man, being surrounded by a bunch of Republic army soldiers. He just has this, he has this dark fog emanating from his body. But it seems like when he activates the Genesis, because we do have to remember that the Genesis were created by Epstein, and we don't know how he created them. We don't know if it was some kind of singularity that let him create them, but they have these special powers, sort of like mini Septarians. But it seems like this one is sort of, in a sense, been corrupted. And then we go through the base, we fight all these robots. And we get to the soldiers, they're all dead. Trenchcoat Man's turned into the evil Grendel, the red one. And we get this weird, goopy, nasty sound effect, where it's almost like Van is resonating with the other Grendel. Mare's evil twin shows up. We fight. At first I was like, oh, I'm gonna beat him. I was really trying to beat him. I was trying to be super strategic and everything. Then he just all of a sudden does just a ton of damage, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is where we just lose. And then this happens. It hits the ground, it goes to attack Van. Elaine pushes Van away, tells him to run, and then the Grendel does this impaling tail move like Ridley from that Smash Brothers trailer, and he kills Elaine. And I was just like, whoa, huh? Yeah, and then it flashed through, it did all the flashbacks of all the memories from their past. And then Van goes crazy. Rune and Agnes show up, but they're too late. And it has Van in a chokehold. And boom. Kills Van. Just like that. Game's over. Roll credits. The Genesis that she has on her starts resonating. And cue Steins Gate music. Actually, I can't play anything from Steins Gate because I'll get copyright claimed. Oh yeah, no, it plays the OP first. And then we go into this visual novel timeline of events. And I was like, okay, this is the section. I knew there was time shenanigans that happened in this game, because unfortunately that was spoiled. So, but it seems like there's going to be, you're gonna eventually get to branching paths where you'll get to make a choice, and depending on the choice you make, it will lead to either a dead end or you'll continue on with the story. Now, with time travel related stuff like this, one thing, I'll just keep playing as I talk, I guess. One thing that I was like, how is this going to work? Like, when we go back and we sort of change timelines, yeah, and then Van is like, wait, hold on, well, what the heck was that? So earlier, I think that was Van essentially sensing a change, either this change or, oh gosh, this is where time stuff just gets confusing sometimes. But one thing that I was worried about was, is it going to just repeat a lot of the same dialogue, and there isn't really going to be that much difference in terms of the sort of bad end and the proper route? Because I was going through all of this, and I was like, no, this is all basically the same. Instead of Van just letting Agnes walk away, he sort of gets this sort of feeling, and then then you get to make your choice. And instead of just letting her walk away, you call out to Agnes, which this sort of ends up prompting her to get a hold of Rune and head over to the army base earlier than anticipated. And then at this point, you go through again, all the scenes play out, this is pretty much the same. Yep, he starts resonating with him again. Which just, that opens up so many questions.
I have several questions.
Goes back to my earlier theories, where it's like, is this a version that was split off from Van? Is it an evil version of Van? Yeah, and we learned that that's what its name is, Grendel Zolga, and it's here to devour everything. And this is where we get its official name, Grendel Zolga. And then this is where it's like, why didn't Van just transform into his Grendel form right away in the first timeline? But in this timeline, we did save the soldiers, so I wonder if the red Grendel sort of absorbs the life force of other things around it, and maybe because it had killed the soldiers and absorbed their life force, it was able to sort of, in a sense, act as an EMP, and Mare wasn't able to show up and help Van activate his Grendel form. That's the only thing I could really think of. Also, what I'm curious of is, will we get the ability to, sort of like Rean's ogre form in the Cold Steel games, will we get to activate Grendel form at some point in the story whenever we want to? And it'll be sort of like you can use it for, like, say, 3 turns, and then there's like a big cooldown, or Van gets like seriously debuffed or something? Or is it just gonna strictly be purely a story thing? And then I got to see Rune's S-Craft. Oh, here it is, Lethal Operation. Oh, that's right, that's one thing I didn't talk about was they brought S-Craft cut-ins back. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So he jumps into an airship, he has a freaking rocket launcher. Oh, Rune. So Rune is kind of like a mix between Machias and Noel, as far as S-Crafts go. He doesn't nearly shoot as many bullets as Machias, but honestly I think Rune looks a bit cooler. Just a little bit. Is that the bias that I know that his English voice actor is Ben Lepley talking? Maybe. So yeah, then you beat him. And the thing that was really awesome, people told me, yeah, the in-game fight scenes just keep getting better. Oh, and then yeah, we see here Van has flashes to the previous timeline, but he's able to anticipate the attacks, and Elaine is also able to. Did they both get flashes from the other timeline? I wonder if it's probably because of Agnes's resonance with the Genesis. But, as Agnes is about to get attacked here, boom, who comes in and saves the day? Swin! Yep, and then he activates his swords. Boom! His explosion move. And then Nadia! Yeah! They're all their teddy bears. But yeah, just look at these animations. They look just so much better. And bam! And then Van does one Falcon punch. Oh, this just blasts it into next week, into the building. If this is what the fight scenes are gonna look like from now on going forward, I definitely think the Rean and Shizuna rematch is gonna meet expectations. It has to, at this point. I do gotta say, as much as I like Nadia's English voice actor, her Japanese voice actress is just so perfect. It's just that perfect touch of just innocent, playful, while also being conniving and sadistic when she needs to be. But then something very interesting happens. Oh yeah, Kayla shows up again. That's not the interesting thing that happens. All the first division of the CID shows up, but then he just kind of teleports away. Because of... did it show them? Ah, yeah, these two. It shows the two... it shows the two hooded characters from the opening for just a split second. But it seems like they're the ones controlling him. Ah, I don't know. I don't know if they're controlling him. I don't know if they're just controlling where it goes and what it does. I don't know if they were just the ones to teleport it away. Not a single shred of beauty reminds me of Blue Blanc. Preparations are now complete. In the next nightmare, is she specifically referring to the next bad end? Possibly. Is the evil mare somehow able to see all different timelines, sort of like Kia? When she had the Septarian of Zero power. Yeah, and this is where we get the little flash of them when they were a couple years younger. Oh, and then yeah, we also get a look at... this is Hooded Man, who I think is possibly Ace, even though the hair is not pink at all. So I think he's just some rando. Some crazy rando. We'll find out who he is later. Yup, and then here's Harwood. Because yeah, these two come teleporting in, and it's the same thing it's the same little aura thing that was used to teleport the Grendel Zolga away. We've only planted the murder weapon and the motive. What kind of crazy scheme is Harwood planning, seriously? To achieve the best chemical reaction, we need a few more drops of special spice, bro. This guy is literally doing chemistry in a Trails game. So yeah, this is essentially confirmed. These two are enforcers and they work under Harwood. So I wonder what number are they? Are they two separate numbers? Are they just one number? Because they're definitely twins. The greatest theatrical crime, one that will surpass the carnival and pandemonium. That's the line that made me think that the whole Grendel Zolga thing is just a puppet. Or it's just like a... Was it something that they possibly created? Did Harwood cook something up in a secret lab somewhere? Is it sort of like the dolls, the really advanced dolls that we saw in Reverie with McBurn? Is it just did they somehow come across leftover research from the DG cult from when Gerard was experimenting on Van, and they used that to sort of create a fake version of Van, or a sort of knockoff version of Van? He is scheming. He is absolutely scheming. But there was also one more thing that caught my attention. Was when it zoomed in on man, you gotta come on. It just when it really zooms in and you really get a look at the guy's face. I was just trying to just compare it to people that we know, and I was like, well, who's one of the only other characters that we've seen that has darker skin? And I was like, well, is this possibly like the spirit of Dingo Brad from the first game? Because we know he got blown to smithereens by essentially a nuclear bomb that Gerard set off and destroyed Crail Village. But could maybe that event mixed with the core inside of Van being expelled somehow gathered the essence of that event and created... So this obviously isn't Dingo, but it's just sort of using his visage as sort of a vessel to contain the Grendel Zolga in itself. That's kind of something that I thought of. How sure am I on that? No, not at all. Oh gosh, really, guys, I just spout theories. If they're right, they're right, and if they're wrong, they're wrong. But that's the fun thing, right? Is sometimes you just go as off the walls crazy as you can think, and you just hope you just let things play out. Yeah, and I got a Septium Vein for getting a rank up. Heck yeah, that's gonna make grinding Sepith just a little bit easier, and they give you that right away. But that's basically everything, I think. Yeah, I stopped right here. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I found this. Yeah, EX chain attacks. Okay, hold on, wait, pause. You can perform a special attack with the support of an ally on stunned enemies. When an enemy is stunned, you can S boost, and when you're in range of an ally, and you can do a chain attack. So they brought the chain attacks from Sky back. Kinda. Look. You can activate the S boost, and you can do either just a normal attack, or just any type of craft. And as long as you hit an enemy that's stunned, oh, you get a really cool cut in. Oh, and you do this combo craft, which is just essentially the characters doing two separate crafts together, but it's still really cool. It's still really cool. And I like that they brought that back. I am very excited to continue playing this game. now that I finally just talked about it and just gotten some of my thoughts out there, which I know in the grand scheme of things wasn't really much, but there was a lot that happened in the prologue that I just wanted to talk about and point out and go over. I probably missed some things, some minor things here and there, maybe some little bits of dialogue. I was frantically, oh yeah, you could do quick magic too, just like, you could do, that's also why what they did to make the action gameplay a bit more fluid was that you can now cast magic attacks. Magic attacks, what am I, a Trails noob? You can cast arts in action combat now. That's really cool. That's really freaking cool. I already loved the gameplay of the first Kuro, and just with the improvements they've made to this one, and with surely the amount of characters that will be able to be added to our party this time around, in addition to all the main characters from the previous game, I imagine, it's just gonna be, I have a feeling this game is gonna possibly be my favorite gameplay system from the entire series. I don't think there's anything else that I want to say. I think I've basically gone over everything, possibly. I hope this video isn't very long. This video is like an hour. I apologize. There's just so much to say. I'm sure some of you guys understand. These are more meant to just be fun little journal entries in my journey. That way. Okay, I'm starting to be incoherent here, so I'm gonna end things here for now. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, you know, like the video, comment down below. And, yeah, hey, if you're that one person that's here and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you enjoy these videos, you have a fun time listening to me just go crazy. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
All right, what's next?